Hello friends, now we will see polynomials. You already know what is a polynomial. The meaning of poly means many, nomial, many things, more than one things is polynomial. Very simple example I am giving you. Ax plus b. Is it a polynomial? Yeah. Two terms are there. It is a binomial. Same way trinomial. But that we have already studied. We have to see what are the degree of the polynomial, how to decide the degree of the polynomial and how to find the zeros of the polynomial. The degree of a polynomial is the highest power of the variable present in the expression. Can you tell me the degree of the polynomial? I am writing here ax cube plus 3x square minus 5. The highest power of the variable x is 3. So what is the degree of polynomial? 3. So you can same way easily find the degree of the polynomial. I am just writing here. Can you tell me the degree of this polynomial? Definitely it is 1. The polynomial with degree 1 is known as linear polynomial. And you know polynomial with degree 2? That is a quadratic polynomial. So the standard format of quadratic polynomial is ax square plus bx plus c. If I say what's the standard format of a cubic polynomial? Cubic means degree is 3. The big boss having the power 3. So it is ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d. That is the standard format of cubic polynomial. Same way we can find any polynomial with any degree very easily. The main thing we have to talk about is the zeros of the polynomial. Do you know what's the meaning of zeros of polynomial? Zeros of polynomial are the values of variable which make the polynomial equal to 0. In other language we can say these are the solutions. These are the roots of the equation. Why equation? Because we are finding the values of x which is making the expression equal to 0. Some equal to is involved, so equation. This is an equation and the values of x will be the zeros of that or the equation. How to find the roots of the equation? Very simple method. You need to put it equal to 0 and then finding the value of x. Value of x, that means the value of the variable, that is the 0 of the equation. Here x is coming out to be minus b by a, very clearly you see. So if we need to find geometrically the roots of the zeros of the equation, what we need to do? We have to see where y is 0. Do you know where the y will be 0? Y will be 0 at x-axis only. So the very basic method is to find the roots of zeros of any equation is to see where the figure is cutting x-axis. There y will be 0. Suppose a graph is like this of a polynomial. So it is cutting x-axis here and here. If we just find these values, we can easily get the value of the roots of the equation very clearly. So the basic method is this. Now we will talk about the quadratic polynomial, little bit of that. This is quadratic equation. If I just remove 0, what is that? Quadratic polynomial, quadratic expression. So to find the roots of that, the graph of a quadratic polynomial is either like this or like this. known as parabola. And where the parabola is cutting x-axis is going to be the zeros of the equation. Can you tell me what the zeros of this equation? Where it is cutting x-axis? Actually, it is not cutting x-axis, you see. So, is there any root? No roots, no solution, no zeros of that particular quadratic expression whose graph is like this. Now you tell me, if the graph is like this, can you predict me how many roots, how many zeros of that quadratic expression will be there? Only one. But you know that quadratic expression, quadratic polynomial must have two roots. And only one root we are getting. What's the meaning? Both the roots are coincident. Same. The roots are 2, 2. Just like that. If expression is x minus 2 whole square coming out to be there. So what is x? X is equal to 2. Both the values of x is 2. So it is cutting x-axis at single point. So equal roots that we will study in quadratic equation chapter. Equal roots when it is just touching. How to decide it is upward or downward? That is being decided by the sign of A. If it is positive, parabola is upward. If it is negative, parabola is downward. In that fashion, we can find the roots of the expression very easily. Now we will see sum and product of the roots is having any relation with the coefficients or not. See, if a quadratic polynomial is ax square plus bx plus c and the corresponding equation is equal to 0, its roots are alpha and beta. Then the relation you must know and you have to remember all the time that sum of the roots alpha plus beta is equal to minus b by a. You can easily verify. Just I am writing one example. Suppose an equation is like that, x square minus 2 is equal to 0. So what are the roots of this? The value of x will be, you know, x square is equal to 2. So x is equal to plus minus root 2. So alpha is plus root 2 and beta is minus root 2. We are just going to see whether this is correct or not. For that example, you see alpha plus beta is equal to plus root 2 plus minus root 2. Do you know this is 0? So sum of roots is 0. Whether this formula is applicable or not, see. What is A here? A means coefficient of x square. What is B? Tell me. B means coefficient of x. Is there any term having x? So coefficient of x is 0 here. So B is 0. So if we apply that formula, minus 0 by A is 1, that is 0. Easily validated. You need to remember this. Okay. And the product of the root, same way you can just find product of the root is C by A. Very interesting and very important results about the roots of quadratic equation. What's the relation between the roots and the coefficients of that expression? Now we just talk about the cubic one. What's cubic? This is ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d is equal to 0. Quadratic equation. How many roots it will have? It must have 3 zeros, 3 roots. If I just name them alpha, beta, gamma, 3 roots. If we need to find the sum of the roots, alpha plus beta plus gamma, what is that? Minus b by a. Just for the sake of easy understanding, I just name it as S1. S1 means sum of the roots taking one root at a time. That is alpha plus beta plus gamma, that is minus b by. Very easy technique I am telling you how to remember. S2. Can you tell me what's the meaning of S2? S2 means sum of the roots taking 2 at a time. What is that? Alpha beta plus beta gamma plus alpha gamma is equal to, if the first S1 is minus B by A, second will be C by A, third will be minus D by A, like that. Okay, so what is that? S2, I name it, and that is C by A. Alternatively, if it is negative, then it is positive. You can just verify. And S3, in 3 roots at a time, alpha, beta, gamma. Okay, and what is that? Can you predict S3? Sum of the roots taking 3 at a time, 3 at a time. Another thing is not left over, so one thing is there. It is, we have taken minus B by A, then plus C by A, so it will be minus D by A. You just remember this thing. The relation between the roots, sum of roots, and the coefficients of the equation. Very important. This thing, as well as about the quadratic, we will be using while solving the problems. Now we will see that if sum of the zeros of a polynomial is given, how to find the other zeros. For that we will be using division algorithm. What is division algorithm? Very basic thing, you know. Dividend is equal to divisor into quotient plus remainder. Very important thing and very basic thing we will be using for division algorithm. Here in the question, if we need to find all the roots, all the zeros of that polynomial, if it is known that 2 of the zeros are this, 2 of the zeros are this, means the equation will be x minus root 2 into x plus root 2 is equal to 0. Why x plus root 2? X minus root 2. So x plus root 2 is equal to 0. If the equation is in that format, then only the roots will be that. So these are the roots of this. So this is actually, if we just multiply, x square minus 2 is equal to 0. What does this means? This expression got these roots. So this will be the factor of that expression. So need to find the other factor. What we will do? We will divide this by that. See how to go for the division. You already know 2x4 minus 3x cube minus 3x square plus 6x minus 2 to be divided by x square minus 2. Very simple. What I will do? I will multiply with 2x square. What is that? 2x4 minus 4x square. Yeah, x square to be written below the x square term. So I did it. Now just subtract. What's that? This is get cancelled out. This is minus 3x cube. This is plus x square plus 6x minus 2. Now to be multiplied with, we have to just cancel it out. We know the basic division. So minus 3x, because I have to get rid of this highest power. So it is coming out to be minus 3x cube, and this is plus 6x. Here I will write plus 6x. What we are getting? This is cancelled out. This is cancelled out, and we are just left with x square minus 2. Now very simple, just multiply with 1, it is x square minus 2, so cancelled out. So what is the other factor of the expression is this. So we will write this thing as one factor 2x square minus 3x plus 1, and another factor is given, that is x square minus 2. So these two factors is giving us equal to 0. We got the values of zeros of that polynomial x square minus 2. We need to find that. So this will be 2x square minus 3x plus 1 is equal to 0. You can find the value of x very easily by splitting the middle term. How? Just this is 2x square. I have to write minus 2x minus x plus 1 is equal to 0. If I take 2x common, x minus 1, and here minus common, x minus 1 is equal to 0. So 2x minus 1 and x minus 1 is equal to 0. So the value of x is coming out to be either 1 by 2 or 1. So the 4 zeros of the fourth power polynomial is root 2 minus root 2, half and 1. So very easily, if some of the roots, 1 root, 2 root, 3 root is given of a polynomial, just find the corresponding equation, divide the original polynomial with that equation so that you can get the remaining factor. Once you got the remaining factor, it's of degree 2, degree 1, anything, you can solve it out and get the values of other zeros of the equation. Hope you are understanding this and enjoying this. Thank you.